There is a quiet corner of East London called Walthamstow. It is not glamorous. It does not appear in football documentaries about superstar academies. It is ordinary streets, ordinary schools, ordinary Sunday league pitches with mud up to the ankles. This is where Harry Kane was born on July 28, 1993. As a boy, Kane joined the Arsenal Academy. It should have been the beginning of a fairy tale. Instead, it was the first rejection of his life. Arsenal let him go. He was told, in so many words, that he was not good enough. He was 8 years old. Most children would have quit. Football has a cruel habit of convincing young boys that one rejection means the dream is over. Kane did not quit. He moved across London and signed for Tottenham Hotspur instead, the club his family had always supported. But even at Tottenham, nothing was handed to him. He was sent out on loan, again and again, to Leyton Orient, to Millwall, to Norwich City, to Leicester City. Different clubs, different levels, different dressing rooms who did not know what to make of this quiet, unremarkable-looking striker who did not have the frame of a typical number 9. For years, he was not a wonder kid. He was not a name anyone outside those clubs had heard of. He was just a boy being loaned out, trying to prove something to people who were not convinced he had it. And through every one of those loans, he kept doing the same unglamorous thing. He trained. He shot the ball again and again after everyone else had gone home. He studied strikers he admired and copied their movement in empty penalty boxes. Nobody was filming it. Nobody was watching. That is usually where dreams quietly die, in the years nobody is watching. Kane's did not die there. It was being built there. By 2014, Kane was still not considered a guaranteed starter at Tottenham. Fans debated whether he was good enough for the Premier League. Pundits questioned his touch, his pace, his positioning. Then came the 2014-15 season. Given a real run in the first team, Kane scored 21 goals in the Premier League, not as a squad player, not as a super sub, as the focal point of the entire team's attack. He won the PFA Young Player of the Year award that season. The boy Arsenal had released. The boy loaned around the lower leagues for years. Suddenly, one of the most feared strikers in England. But this is the part of the story people forget. It was not a lucky season. It was the direct result of years of unseen repetition, the shooting drills after training, the loan spells nobody glamorized, the rejection at 8 years old that could have ended everything before it began. From that season onward, Kane became one of the most consistent goal scorers in Europe. Golden Boot after Golden Boot, year after year of 20-plus goal seasons, at a level of reliability few strikers in the world could match. He became Tottenham's captain. He became England's captain. He led England to a World Cup semi-final in 2018, winning the Golden Boot as the tournament's top scorer. And yet, one thing kept eluding him: a trophy. For nearly a decade at Tottenham, Harry Kane did almost everything right. He scored more goals for Spurs than any player in the club's history, 280 goals in all competitions, more than club legends whose names are sung from the terraces. He carried a team that, for long stretches, could not match his individual quality, but medals did not come. Season after season, Tottenham finished agonizingly short. A Champions League final lost. League campaigns that promised everything and delivered nothing. Near misses that hurt more than outright failures. People started calling it a curse. The best striker of his generation, with not a single major trophy to his name. Kane could have stayed. He could have kept collecting individual accolades in a shirt that never lifted a trophy, telling himself that loyalty mattered more than winning. Instead, in the summer of 2023, at 30 years old, an age when many players are considered to be past their peak, Kane made the hardest decision of his career. He left Tottenham, the only boyhood club he had ever known, and moved to Bayern Munich. It was a gamble. Critics said he was moving to a league many considered a step down in visibility. They said he was chasing trophies rather than earning them where it mattered most. Kane ignored the noise. He had spent his whole career being underestimated. This was just one more voice to prove wrong. Kane's first season in Germany answered every doubt immediately. He scored 44 goals across all competitions in his debut Bayern campaign, one of the most explosive starts by any new signing in Bundesliga history. But the trophy curse followed him for one more year. Bayern fell short of the title in that first season, and old critics resurfaced, ready to say the move had changed nothing. Kane's response was not words, it was goals. In the 2024-25 season, Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga title. For the first time in his career, after 280 goals for Tottenham, after a World Cup semi-final, after a decade of near misses, Harry Kane lifted a major trophy. He did not stop there. The following season, 2025-26, became the finest of his career. Kane scored 61 goals across all competitions for Bayern, retained the Bundesliga title, won the DFB Cup for the first time, scoring a hat-trick in the final, and claimed the France Beckenbauer Super Cup along the way. He won the European Golden Shoe. He became the first player in Bundesliga history to finish as the league's top scorer in each of his first 3 seasons at the club. The boy Arsenal once released was now being compared, statistically, to some of the greatest goal scorers the modern game has ever produced. Harry Kane's story is not one of overnight talent. It never was. It is the story of a child who was told at 8 years old that he was not good enough, and who refused to let one rejection define him. It is the story of a player loaned out to club after club in the lower leagues, doing unglamorous work that nobody was watching, because the work mattered more than the audience. It is the story of a man who spent a decade being the best individual player on a team that could not win, and who had the courage at 30 years old to change everything rather than settle for comfort. And it is the story of what happens when someone refuses to stop proving people wrong, not once, not twice, but for over 20 years, from a mudded pitch in Walthamstow to lifting trophies in Munich. Kane still has more he wants. A first Champions League, a first major trophy with England. But whatever comes next, one thing about his story is already certain. Every rejection he faced was never the end of it. It was just the beginning of what he had to prove.